Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. So good. Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. I have something super fun for us to play with today. We are going to be playing with today's, like the second half of the month of August's relaunch is Mixtape. So I'm going to put a link to that so that you can play along with me if you don't already have this art printable. They are only $5 and you'll have lots of fun, I promise. So the artwork that I posted this morning is from my very talented pal, Joni. But you'll notice that throughout the next little while, I'll be posting more makes from the Mixtape art printable from lots of different team members, and so you'll get so many perspectives, and I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for you to see the fun of good morning, Keels. The fun of seeing how each person interprets a piece of artwork from their own perspective. And your perspective is from as simple as what art materials you use, right? But also deeper, like your life experience, what you've been exposed to, all kinds of things influence your perspective. And so I love that. I love that. It was one of my mom's favorite things about us creating in our community, was to see how everyone interpreted the same art printable. Okay, so, but today I wanted to play with, so I got these markers while I was school supply shopping this year. This is a new something. So they're Crayola and they're called Clicks markers. I have never opened these and I have never played with them. So today is the day. Let's see, looks like I can open it here from the side. So I brought two things out that we can play with. These are neon, because remember we've talked about neon the other day, and just the power of neon and how we can use that as a really cool base. And there's some cool neons in this set. They're washable. Okay, here's all the colors, but you guys, so we always think about look at these. It looks like lime green, but there's two. One is called Screaming Green, and one is called Electric Lime. And so we have all of these. Look at this really orangey yellow, and then like what we think of as a typical yellow highlighter color, kind of that more cool yellow. Anyway, I'm super excited to play with these. So in conjunction with these, I got out a bunch of neon colored pencils from my stash that I thought we could fiddle with those. Hey Tam, how are you? And then I also have my gel pens, and there's some neon gel pens in there. And I got this set of inkjoy gel. So I really like the inkjoy Number 1, they're inexpensive. Number 2, lots of colors. Number 3, pretty smooth application of color. So I thought, let's open these this morning too. I am going to be teaching a Back to Art School 104 class. There we go. And it's going to be more artsy this year than, well, I've always tried to make it pretty artsy, but wait, there's more, yes. Anyway, so let's play with these too. So here we go. Oh my gosh, I have so many things to talk to you guys about. If you're brand new here or you haven't done this just yet, if you would like, follow, subscribe, share, comment on Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and then go to join our private Facebook group, Stitch Along with Ann, which is where I'll be tomorrow, and Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook group. This is Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook page. Okay, so I thought first I would show you some cool, you know I love some highlighter art. So I thought we could play with these highlighters. And you know, these aren't the only highlighters I have. Hello, I have them for everything. So here's a couple of things. I'm just going to get a piece of paper out. Let's see, do I have just a piece of watercolor paper that I can show you some different ways to use, you know what, I could just use the sides of this. Some different ways to use highlighters. So you can, let's take pinks of course. So let's take this one first. So you can, let's see, oh, this is clickable. It doesn't come off. Okay, so you'll notice that it has a conical shape, right? So that means you can make thick lines and thin lines. So let's do that. So we can do a thin line and a thick line. That's cool. You can scribble on here, just like any water-based medium. Add some water, and then you're going to make paint, right? Another thing that you can do with it, which I thought was stinking brilliant, is you can, okay, I have this little, you know, I can't throw anything away. So I have all these little pieces of cut-offs, you know, from my watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to scribble some color on my craft mat. And I'm going to get some water. And then we can just do some splat with that. So think about if you're painting something with your highlighters, you can have some coordinating splatters with those same colors. Cool, right? And then, you know I don't throw anything away. And then save your caps. I save caps from everything. And then you can shut it. Look at that. Look at how cool and interesting that is. Right? Stop it, stop it, stop it. And obviously, I think I showed, like, you can just watercolor with it, right? You can just pick it up with a brush and watercolor with it. And I kind of feel like that's kind of the direction I want to go with my art printable today. I want to kind of use a lot of these techniques, but I thought it might be kind of fun to share it with you first, so you kind of have it fresh in your noggin, right? All right. So now, let's see. Let's talk about the art printable that we're playing with today. The art printable that we're playing with today is Mixtape, which I thought completely lent itself to neons, right? So a couple of things. Good morning, Patricia. Hi, Debbie. I know I love that strip, and you know I'll be using that for something, Tam. I can't help myself. So one thing I was thinking that we could do. Sorry, I have too many things stacked up here. And I lost my... Isn't it funny how, like, we have a good paintbrush? Please, they're all good, but you know how we are. We have one that we just kind of get stuck on for a while. At least I do. I have, there's my beam number 4. I love that one. Okay, so let's start with, I don't know. Let's start with something with a big space. So let's start with the smiley. So did anybody have a smiley sweatshirt growing up or a t-shirt? Oh, we did. All 3 of us did. My sister, my brother, and I. We all had, I mean, come on. My sister and I were talking about a tattoo that, oh my gosh, look at how pretty this is looking, you guys. Look at it. And look at the difference between the watery version of this highlighter and the full strength right from the tip. So pretty, right? So let's see. I'm thinking, what if we tried, I think I had, this is a filbert, yeah. What if we try a little wet on wet? See what happens with that. So I'm just going to try that over here. So I'm just going to paint some water on here. Then let's take that same, and then let's get some color in there. And then let's see if we can move that. See what happens. I mean, here's how you learn about what they can do. It's just trial and error, right? Okay. So let's take this smiley, and I'm thinking let's start with this pink, I think. I'm going to start by just painting it. Let's just like watercolor it, right? So let's, and isn't this an interesting, oh, I just stuck my hand in there. Isn't this interesting? It's quite, it's almost like a fuchsia. And if you go by the outside of the marker, it looks like it's the lightest pink, right? You just never know. But I will tell you, there's something about, starting with some neons. We did that the other day. So let's continue that exploration of neons. As a base of color. There we go. Stop it. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut these apart. I feel like that. Hey, Vicky Dooley, how are you? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, this one I'm gonna need to cut very close. This Polaroid frame with this posy right here. Things are easier to cut if they're, or easier to paint if they're on a smaller, I find. I mean, you do what works for you, but for me, it does feel, I think it's easier to paint, it's more manageable for me to paint them if they're in smaller sections. So what Joni did, and you'll notice, which is crazy because none of them see each other's artwork until it's posted. But what you'll notice this week is that Joni, Carmen, and Jennifer all created a make that has the Polaroid frame as their base and flowers coming out of it like crazy. That's super cool. So I've been kind of playing with that idea, like how am I going to incorporate that in my make? These were such whimsical flowers to create. So fun. And then we have the cassette tape. Shut it! So fun. Let's get a little closer on that one. So I'm kind of feeling, this is still pretty wet, but I'm wondering if we could, I gotta take my glasses off. Sorry, you guys. I can see and I can't see. Okay, so I'm gonna do another layer of the watercolor wash of highlighter. I'm just feeling like that. I could get some good depth and shape. You know how I like a shape. So I want my smiley face to look a little bit dimensional. So let's come in with a watercolor, like a really watery wash of that color, and see if we can do a jiggy jaggy blend. I'm not sure about how highlighter is going to move, but we will find out together. So let's just really work on a jiggy jaggy blend right there. Soften that line. It's kind of working. There we go. Now we've got this. Let's get some more over here. Wipe off the excess and then come in and see if we can soften this edge too. And I like to do the jiggy jaggy blend because then I don't have as harsh a line, a demarcation, you know what I'm saying, between shades. Kind of, because it's jiggy jaggy. Let's see what we get. Okay, so just going to continue with that. Now I'm wondering what's going to happen if we just add just a little bit. Let's see if I can move it. So wet on wet isn't as successful, I'm finding. But we'll absolutely be able to make this work. But not that we're not going to experiment along the way. So I wet my brush and then I tapped it off on my paper towel, so we're working with a more damp brush. I think that might help our fight against the line of demarcation. And let's do some back, forth, and then jiggy jaggy, jiggy jaggy, jiggy jaggy. Oh, that's making me so happy. It gets a little bit. I love the idea that I don't have to chase a cap around with these with these clickable highlighters. that's kind of nice. I love the idea that it was a pretty inexpensive art supply, which brings me to a topic I wanted to talk. You don't learn if you don't experiment. That's for dang sure. That's for dang sure, Tam. Okay, so here's a topic I wanted to talk about with you guys today. First, let's all take a drink, shall we? Okay, so there's a whole school of thought. I need to set this aside and just let it dry, or I'll just keep picking at it. There's a whole school of thought about therapeutic art, making therapeutic art, and art therapy. Two totally different things. Making therapeutic art is often like what we do, right? So I want you to think about this. I want you to only buy supplies. Don't buy supplies because they're trendy. Buy supplies because is it the sensory experience that you want to have? So I want you to be observing yourself as you create over the next week. Do you like smooth and creamy? Do you like precise and controlled? Do you like watery and unpredictable? Do you like messy and tactile? Do you like repetitive and rhythmic? Or do you like a combination of those? Do you find in your making, sometimes you really want it to be this, and sometimes you really want it to be that. Sometimes, sometimes you like to combine those things. You know what I'm saying? So kind of put it in your thinker, and as you are creating this week, I want you to kind of just be observant of that. Is it, what do you seem to kind of gravitate to? Or, at what times do certain things seem to be, most attractive to you, sensory wise? Just kind of be mindful of that and see what you find. I want to do, so I have all of this pink mixed up, so I'm going to paint a little bit on a lot of things so I use up that paint, because no wasting. And this is all just from a simple highlighter. Isn't that the craziest thing? Okay, I'm going to try. Did you see I got this little dot right here? So let's try to take that away. Soak up as much as we can with a little hunk of paper towel. And then let's clean our brush. And then come in with a damp brush and do a jiggy. See if we can wet enough of it that we can tap off even more of that. There we go. Okay, let's finish painting these doodads. Looks like we need to do a little bit more. Because as I was thinking of the list of sensory experiences, I thought about how at different times I'm kind of craving different sensory experiences. Like I do really like watery and unpredictable, but I also really like precise and controlled line work on top of watery and unpredictable. So just be mindful of it, and maybe even take a couple of notes for yourself, and then let's keep that conversation going. I'm curious where you find yourself in the in the, in the realm of it all. Let's see. I think I want to do this pink. I'm really liking creating this super watery wash of highlighter. I mean, how crazy is that? The idea of that. Do you know what I mean? That we're painting with a highlighter. I mean, how's that for an experiment? Right? A long line right here. I want to get a little bit of this pink on everything before I come in before I introduce a new highlighter color. And there's so many of these highlighter colors that I'm dying to try. Look how light that one is. So that means I can grow it a lot, right? So how about this one? What if I just did the center? Oh, so pretty. I think I might want to add more pink on that, but let's just leave it at that for right now. Okay, so now let's come in with a new color. Well, I have, maybe I need to swatch these so I kind of have an idea of where I'm going with them, because of that yellowy orange. So here, look at, here's my nature color, the Stabilos, remember those? So you know what, let's do these here. So these are Crayola. Clicks. Neon. And you know what? I'm gonna make that box. Thank goodness it was right on the top of the trash. And let's write down the the names that they gave them. Take another drink. Oh, you know what? I also want to put 2026. And this was 2026 also. I can look up the date, but I want to remember that's when I bought it. It's a nice thing to just add to your swatch, just so you remember where you got it, when you got it. Okay, we've got Laser Lemon. This poor pen is on its last legs, but I won't let go of it just yet. Radical Red. Atomic. Tangerine. Screaming Green. I hope that you swatch your art supplies, whether they're from Target or the art store. Swatch everything. It really remember the way to get to know an art supply and its capabilities is to use it and use it and use it and use it. So one way to start that whole trend is to swatch. Like one thing, like you'll learn the names of everything. You'll learn the and sometimes I like to make notes to myself. Neon. Over, do you know what I mean? Like, if there's something, Cerise, I was just talking about Cerise to somebody, and I said, my niece lives on Cerise Road. And I was talking about how cerise is a color pink. Let me see if I have. Oh, here in these Forever Michigan, I have these Forever Michigan Lindy's, but I also have some three. Hi, Sarah Arnold. 3 of the Crafters Workshop stencil butters that match those colors. Like, I just like to, so sometimes I write like those matte tints, like what it is, what's special about it, that it's that they're transparent and that you can print tissue paper. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like to, I mean, this is my swatch book. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to anybody else, right? It only needs to make sense to me. Just like your swatch book only needs to make sense to you. Okay, I'm currently swatching and documenting all my sketch boxes. I've gotten, instead of letting them pile up, literally pile up. I totally understand. I totally understand, Tam. It is kind of a funny thing, isn't it? Okay, so here we go. Laser Lemon. So let's make a line. Radical Red. I'm thinking, let's do the ones that I know for sure. I think this one is Neon Carrot. Yep. Okay, we have 2 greens. We have Screaming Green. And we have Electric Lime, excuse me. Sounds like the name of a band or something, doesn't it? Atomic Tangerine. Okay, now let's look at the, all right. Sky Blue, which looks quite aqua, doesn't it? But look at the color. Don't judge a pen by its case. Ceruleum. Okay, now we have, did I lose one along the way? 1, 2, 3. Nope, I have 3 left. Okay, so this one must be Radical Red. And then we have Neon, wait a second. Neon Magenta. This one must be Radical. This one is Cerise, I believe. And now we have Neon Magenta and Radical Red. I'm thinking, if I'm looking at this correctly, it doesn't say anywhere on it, of course. And they were probably in that order in the in the case, but whatever. Let's see. I have 15 months worth, and I've documented and put away 4. No, I so get you. I so get you, Tam. I so get you. Okay, I'm gonna say this one is. Well, let's see what it looks like first. Where's a little hunk of something? Let's see what we got. Okay, so that's this one. And let's see what this one is. Okay. I think this one is neon magenta. And I think this one is radical red. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Okay. So now we have like a, look at the lemon yellow. I can barely see it now. Isn't that something? It was so bright when it went on the page. Look at how light it is now. Let's see if it look how bright it is, and let's see if it sinks into the page. Did you see the lighter one looked magenta? I don't know, Tam. I don't know. I don't know. I'll fiddle around with it. Anyway, look at those pretty colors. Yes, look at it's lightening up. That's interesting and a good thing to know. Do you know what I'm saying? A good thing to know. Okay, so let's color some more, and then let's talk some more about art supplies. I'm just going to say one more thing about it. I want you to, like I said, I want you to really kind of observe yourself and see what you seem to gravitate to, what makes you feel so good, what, if there's a combo of things, and if there is a combo of things, what is that combo of things, and what supplies do you have that represent smooth and creamy, precise and controlled, watery and unpredictable, messy and tactile, repetitive and rhythmic. Anyway, just kind of be mindful of that this week. And then we'll talk about it again next week. But just remember that the best art supply is the one that makes you want to pick it up and start creating. Remember that. What makes you want to... I'm laughing because the captions are coming up before I hear you talk. It's a little spooky. Do you have captions on today? I don't have captions on today. Interesting. Interesting. The whole caption thing, that's kind of been throwing me for a loop. Okay, let's see if I can erase that, or if that, yep, good. Okay, so, like, we could start with some other colors. I'm looking at the greens. I want to start with the screaming green and then go to the electric lime. So let's pull those greens out and work on some stems. There. Oh, look at that smiley that I haven't even, it's completely clear of color, so we've got to rectify that. But I think let's keep with our, trend of watercoloring with them first. Oh, look at that. We're going to fussy cut this so it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if I overshoot the edge because we're going to be fussy cutting anyway, right? I just want to get some color down and then grow it. Just little by little by little by little. And these are quite light. That's okay. That's okay by me. I like being able to just like start with light layers and then little by little grow it. Okay, this one is really quite light, so let's add a little bit more to that. Since we have a little bit of extra paint here anyway. That's better. This one too. Let's get a little bit more color. And then this one. And then this guy. Stem is a little faint. Move that around. There we go. Okay. I want to, how am I doing on time? Oh, okay, so I want to grow the smiley face in a couple of ways. I want to deepen the edges because I really like the way that, you know, I like to have color create form, but then I also wanted to do some layering. And so looking at that pen and this pen of the, oh, they have that weird little wax ball on the end, and that's supposedly that is for keeping the ink fresh. I don't know, I'm not a pen manufacturer, but everybody knows what it's like to have a pen that doesn't write. Frustrating. Okay, so let's see. I want to look at those. Okay. Let's see if we come in with some of this neon magenta and what happens if we pull some of that. This is much purple. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the end of my brush and then I'm going to come back in with my jiggy blend and see if I can soften that. Dip my brush in water and then tap it off. So then I'm just coming in with a damp brush. Oh my gosh, I've got a really good would you rather. Are you ready, you guys? It's so good. Would you rather spend the night in a glass igloo under the stars, or in a treehouse above the clouds? That'll get your imagination going. I think they both sound grand, don't they? Can you imagine? I've seen there's this, I see them advertised kind of all over now. Like there's some in Flagstaff that have like a glass roof so you can watch the stars. But I've seen some in Norway where all the walls are glass so you can see the animals and it's in the middle of the woods. Oh my gosh. I would never want to leave. I would never want to leave. Like you see reindeer and, just beautiful. Just beautiful. I think that would be something to see. You know what's funny? Sarah, what did you say? Those are some of my favorite writing pens. Yeah, and you know what's so funny? I was thinking this morning as I was pulling supplies, Sarah, I bought these I bought these whole bin colored pencils when I was with you and we were at that amazing art store. All of these highlightery, like neon-y colors were all with you that day. Let's, yeah, I do love an inkjoy. I have to say, I do love an inkjoy. A treehouse above the clouds. I think I would, I don't know. That's a hard choice, don't you think? Because obviously, if you're in an igloo under the stars, you would be in a dark place, so the stars would be just magnificent. And can you imagine if you just happened to see the northern lights? Fab. Okay, so I have a couple of ideas. So I'm thinking we could certainly grow some form with colored pencils. So again, the end of my pencil is barely touching the surface of my substrate, and I am just round and round and round she goes. Just a circly blend. I told you, Tam, every day. Everybody take a drink. But can you imagine being in a treehouse above the clouds? Because that's one of my favorite things about flying, is being above the clouds. That would be cool, right? This is adding lovely. So I hope that you are inspired to either purchase Mixtape or pull your Mixtape art printable out and fiddle around with it today. Like, what will you create with it? I'm trying to just really change my directions of my swirly blend. Bring it in so that I'm really creating a really nice form. Can I tell you, this is the stuff that I get myself lost in, you guys. That's why I have to keep saying, how am I doing on time? Because I will just lose myself in it all. So back, forth, back, forth, back, forth on the perimeter, and then swirly blend just outside the back, forth, back, forth. Does that make sense, everybody? And then, again, we're just barely touching the surface of that substrate. Barely, barely, barely touching it. Okay, so I'm loving that. Okay, now let's bring in some pens, since we, time and everything. Okay, I think I'm just going to use this one. So let's do some stippling. But I'm doing really barely there stippling, where your dot pattern is quite condensed at the edge, and then we just kind of fan that out as you Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I have this sketchy line. So I have a couple of ideas. I want to do some line work in between these two sketchy lines, but I'm doing it with the pink pen. I was going to do it with black, but I'm kind of feeling like shut it. Look at that. That is making me so happy. And one thing that I noticed, you know, I've been so into ballpoint pen art. One thing that I have noticed is that I do need to like clean off the end of my pen, because ink does tend to kind of pool up there. There we go. Oh, you guys, look at it, look at it. Okay, so let's do some stippling on this side. How am I doing on time? Oh, I'm doing good, I'm doing good. Okay. I'm having a moment right now where I'm thinking about, well, I'm kind of getting myself lost in thoughts. You know how the zone works, right? When we get in that flow state, we, then my thoughts are just like all mumbly jumbly. It was actually quite cool out this morning because we had a big fat monsoon last night, and it's the second one this week. It is monsoon season. So we get this mix. The monsoon season is kind of this crazy mix of big fat rainstorms, thunderstorms, lightning storms, and windstorms that kick up a dust storm. So it's just kind of a crazy time of year. Oh my gosh. So now I'm thinking, do I want the smiley face to be black? Do I want it to be white? I don't know. I don't know. What was the other thing? So I told you all about the Crayola clicks. We talked about layering neon products with other products, and the power of neon, because it's so, what do I want to say? It's so vibrant that it will brighten everything you put with it. Do you know what I'm saying? I just love that. I love that. Oh. I have something that I wanted to share with you. I got the loveliest postcard from my darling Keely. And it's from Brandy Kincaid. If anybody happens to order lovely things from Brandy Kincaid. This one says, all that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. Octavia Butler. I love it. And Keely just writes, just a little postcard to let you know I'm thinking of you. Keep on keeping on. And you know what's so crazy? How the universe works? It just arrived on the day I needed it. It was... Thank you, Kills. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let's see. I think. I wonder if we go over the stippling. That's kind of cool because that's going to mute the stippling dots just a bit by doing more colored pencil on top of there, but also deepen our form, which, you know, makes me so happy. So talk about mixed media, you guys. That's 3 medias, right? We have highlighters, we have colored pencils, and we have gel pens. I'm going to start some of the places where I don't have stippling. I'm going to deepen my back forth. Hi, Janet. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are coloring my Mixtape art printable. And then we are creating mixed media art with, we started with a highlighter, and I wonder if we can soften that just a bit. Just enough to make it a little bit blurry around the edges. I kind of like the idea of that. Like just every now and again have a little bit of that, like pure, what do I want to say, like pure color straight from the highlighter. And then we can build around that. That's what I'm kind of thinking. But let's just soften it enough that, like I said, it looks a little bit blurry. And then we can, like I said, we can build off of that. I like the build. I don't know, there's something about that to me. There's something about building from one, this one's kind of a straight line. Let's fix that for crying out loud. Here we go. Okay. Some of these are blurrier than others. Let's see if we can blur them out a little bit more. The ones that are a little bit more stark-ish. Can't think of a better way to say that. Now let's come in with our colored pencil and let's see if we can soften that just a little bit. And do you see how just the addition of that is already starting to create form on these little balls of color? And you'll notice that some of my bits of highlighter went right to the edge, like this one went right to the edge, right? Some I left a little bit of a space between the color and the edge so that there's that little moment of reflection. Look at that. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm just kind of madly in love with that. Now let's take our gel pen and let's just do a little bit of stippling in that darkened area. And you notice I didn't do every round, every sphere, right? I just did some. And here's the thing, like once we get these kind of where we want them, then we can come, we could do all of them if we wanted, we could do just some of them. So now let's come back with that colored pencil again and soften. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure with my colored pencil on when I go over my gel pen stippling. There we go. Ta-da. So here's the thing. These are all things that you can absolutely do with stuff you've probably got on your desk. Everybody's probably got colored pencils, highlighters, and gel pens. You've probably got all of those. Pull those out and play with them, and then be sure to snap pictures of your makes so that we can see everybody's iteration of Mixtape with the same kinds of supplies, right? So I will bid you adieu because I went over. Imagine. I adore you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Be sure to engage in conversation. Be sure to comment. If you've watched this on the replay, be sure to comment, #replay. Be sure to share if it's something that you really think is of interest to someone else, somebody else who wants to just get a little artsy. And go out and make it a terrific Tuesday. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow in Stitch Along. Bye.